you here this evening, and I want to apologize for the delay in our start. I do want to announce before we begin that Mayor Lube has submitted her resignation to myself as council president and to city manager Brent Stockwell. I do want you to know that the council accepts that. I accept that letter of resignation with a heavy heart. We will move forward with continued conversations is how I will act as mayor pro tem in the interim during this time. But on our meeting on September 23rd, we will progress with that process of what comes next for a mayor for the city of Tigard that we all care so very deeply about. But wanted to say that from the very beginning so that you all were aware if you had not heard. So give me a little bit of grace this evening as I shift gears a little bit. But again, I welcome you all here this evening. And with that, we will do roll call. City Recorder Krieger, if you would please do that.
Councillor Schlack.
Here.
Councillor Shaw.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf.
Here.
Youth Councillor Hellick.
Here.
Councillor Godusi.
Present.
Oh, Councillor Godusi.
Present.
Thank you. And Councillor Hu.
Here.
Councillor Robbins.
Here.
And I think that's it. Okay, will you all please rise with me and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. City Manager Stockwell and Council, are there any non-agenda items? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to our proclamations and recognition. We have several this evening, so certainly want to honor those all that are here. Our first one is honoring the Tigard Diamond Sports All-Stars 11U softball team 2025 state champions. Tonight we recognize the Tigard Diamond Sports All-Stars 11U softball team for their remarkable 2025 season. Through dedication, teamwork, and countless hours of practice, these young athletes represented Tigard with pride and sportsmanship. On July 11th, they achieved an extraordinary milestone by winning the Oregon State Championship, a victory that reflects not only their talent, but also the support of their coaches, families, and community. This accomplishment will stand as a proud moment in Tigard's athletic history and an inspiration for future young athletes. For these reasons, I am proud to proclaim September 9th, 2025 as Tigard Diamond Sports All-Stars 11U Softball Team Day in the city of Tigard. So congratulations if the team wants to come up.
We can do that. You need help? Yeah. I'll take them. Yeah. Come on around, and we'll give you pins after, so make sure you get to see. Am I gonna stand? How about if I stand behind y'all?
Thanks, Shannon. Okay.
Exuberance of 11.
All right, so I expect just as much excitement for Constitution Week proclamation, an incredibly important proclamation indeed. As Mayor Pro Tem, I am proud to join our nation in recognizing Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd of 2025. This week marks the 238th anniversary of the signing of the United States Constitution, the foundation of our freedoms and the framework of our democratic government. It is a time to reflect on the vision of the framers in 1787 and to recommit ourselves to protecting the liberties they secured. I encourage all Tigard residents to honor this historic document and celebrate the principles of law, liberty, and civil responsibility that continue to guide our community and our country. Alex Dorian is here to present and share a brief statement. Is that correct? Hi, Alex. Thanks for being here. And thanks for sharing this. And
Just turn
See,
them on.
would you press the button? It'll turn green when it's on. There you go.
Honorable Mayor and City Councilors, good evening. The celebration of the Constitution was started by the Daughters of the American Revolution in 1955. The DAR asked Congress to set aside September 17th through 23rd every year to observe Constitution Week. The resolution was later approved by the U.S. Congress and signed into public law on August 2nd, 1956 by President Dwight Eisenhower. Constitution Week is celebrated each year to observe its history, importance, and to bring attention to how important it still is today. The Constitution stands as a tribute to the determination of Americans throughout history to maintain their liberties, freedoms, and inalienable rights. Constitution Week is a great time to learn about this important document and to celebrate the freedoms it has given us. The Constitution was signed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on September 17, 1787. I am proud to say that I am a distant cousin to three signers of the Constitution: George Washington, James Madison, and Benjamin Franklin. Thank you for approving this proclamation.
well, Alex, thank you for sharing, and that's quite a lineage you have there. I think now more than ever, it's such an important time for us all to read and understand and reflect on the Constitution. So thanks for requesting this. And with this, we'd love to take a picture with you and give you a framed proclamation for Constitution Week. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for Okay, our next proclamation is National Policewoman Day, and there is no one better than to talk to us about that than our own Police Community Engagement Coordinator, Bauer, and Maddie, come on up, and we're so excited to have you both here.
Good evening, thank you. So I am Maddie Bauer, I'm with the Tigard Police Department, and I'm with Officer O'Rourke tonight to talk about National Policewoman Day, so no one better than one of our very own policewomen. So on September 12th, we honor National Policewoman Day to recognize the courage, dedication, and leadership that women have brought to law enforcement for over a century. Women officers bring unique skills and perspectives that strengthen community trust and improve safety for everyone. The Tigard Police Department is proud to be among Oregon's leaders in women's representation, with women serving in every division, patrol, investigations, and specialty assignments, while embodying our values in attitude, leadership, integrity, service, and teamwork. We remain committed to supporting and mentoring women in law enforcement and believe that a diverse police force is essential to serving our growing community with compassion and professionalism. We recognize and thank the women of our Tigard Police Department and women in law enforcement everywhere for their extraordinary service and sacrifice that make our city safer and stronger every day. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. Keith, you wanna come up? Gonna say, Chief, I thought you were walking away, and I'm like, no, there's one more. And then our final one is National Crime and Intelligence Analyst Day, and our Police Chief McDonald is here to read the proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Wolf. And if I may, before I read this, I'd like to just recognize the women that serve in the police department as officers. For many years, Tigard was #1 in the state in the percentage of women that we had as police officers. I'm not sure where we're at now, but we're pretty close. We recently hired one, and I've got another one that's going to be starting at the end of this month. So, but tonight I'm here for a different purpose. Another lady that serves our department, and I'm honored to recognize September 20th, 2025 as National Crime and Intelligence Analyst Day. Crime and intelligence analysts are quiet professionals behind the scenes who provide the data, insights, and investigative support that make modern policing effective. Their expertise helps identify crime trends, guide the use of resources, and connect the dots across jurisdictions, work that is vital to keeping our community safe. Here in Tigard, we are fortunate to have a highly skilled analyst whose dedication strengthens our police department and builds trust with the public. On this day, I encourage all residents to join me in expressing gratitude for these unsung heroes and their essential role in protecting our city. And Gayla Christopher is our crime analyst, and she's at a conference with other crime analysts from around the state and other investigators, learning how to do her job even better.
Sounds like a good reason to not be here, but Chief, we will certainly take a picture if, with the proclamation. Okay, next on our agenda is public comment. And we do have a few that have signed up for public comment. So at this point, first I'll give with those that were submitted prior to the meeting. 2 written comments were received by noon deadline on Monday, one regarding enforcing laws against electric motorcycles on sidewalks, and the other regarding a 360-degree security camera installed high atop a neighbor's ham radio antenna. So at this point, City Recorder, I know that we do have 2 pages of folks that are wanting to do public comment. So we will start with that. And as a reminder, you will have 2 minutes. It is up on the screen, so you can track your time. And the first one that we have is Patty. So if you want to come on up for, or did you just sign in? Yeah, Lofgren, I'm sorry, yeah. So I apologize, I wasn't clear. So when we have folks that submit in writing, I just summarize the 2, and so I did that, and I have moved on to those that are here to speak in person. And you're first on board, so welcome. Thanks, Patty.
Turn this on? Yes. All right, my name is Patty Lofgren. I'm a Tigard resident. I am a long-term supporter of and volunteer at Oregon Public Broadcasting. And this very afternoon, I attended a Zoom webinar hosted by Marketplace's Kai Brisdahl and Amy Scott, who does the podcast How We Survive. And the title of their webinar was, Is Climate Change an Economic Crisis? And they had as their guest Elizabeth Kolbert, that's Kolbert with a K. She's an author of 6 books over the last 10 years on the planet and climate change. And their question for her to start off with is the sky falling? And if so, how do we land? Now, prior to her taking questions, they shared 2 statistics. One was announced earlier this summer. Here in the United States, they said in the last decade, the United States spent $150 billion per year on climate-related events. Another statistic was just released last month in Germany, and they said, this institution said by 2050, the Earth will be spending $32 trillion a year on climate-related events. So their question for her was, what can we do? And her very first advice is, we all need to do everything we can that makes moral and economic sense to us, and we need to start right away. And she highly recommended a book called What If We Get It Right by Ayanna Johnson. And they asked her, why have you written 6 books? And she said, I've spent the last 10 years traveling the world, and everywhere I go, it's different, whether it's, snow in Alaska or climate change, fires, floods, sea level rise. She said it's just such a difference, and we need to act now. So thank you for your time.
Hi, good evening, City Council. I'm Sean Martinez. I live in Tigard, Oregon. I'm the lead at Climate Action Tigard, and I also volunteer with the Tigard Transportation Advisory Committee. And as you know, climate and transportation are very much intertwined. The transportation is the leading, is the leading sector for greenhouse gas emissions, so we should be doing all we can do to reduce car trips in the city. I lead Tigard's only bike bus to Metzger Elementary School every week. Every week, rain or shine, we get as many kiddos as we can to ride bikes from Metzger Park to Metzger Elementary School and try to reduce car trips. If you've ever been in front of any of our schools, you'll see that they're full of idling cars during pickup and drop off. And it's something that we need to address, not only for air quality, but also our kiddos are not getting exercise. They're just riding in cars everywhere. I wanted to read a quote from Beaverton's Walkable City Plan. And they say, enabling low-car districts to increase density in areas with good transit services and allowing people to live, shop, and enjoy recreational activities without the use of a car is how they're working on designing walkable places in the city of Beaverton, and I think we should follow along. We know that Washington County is very car-centric. We don't have a lot of bicycle infrastructure that makes people feel safe, safe enough to get them out of their cars. That's the complaint I hear most often from most people, is that they say, I can't ride my bike to work, or I can't ride to the store because I don't feel safe. And that's something that we need to change if we want to see a true modal shift and get people to be getting exercise and get out of their cars. All right, thank you so much.
Well, Sean, thank you, and thank you for walking your talk, or writing your talk is probably better. Thank you. Next on public comment is Elizabeth Sprague.
Honorable Council and Interim Mayor Wolf, if I got that right. My name is Elizabeth Sprague. I'm here tonight as a resident of Tigard for over 25 years and as a member of Climate Action Tigard. With changes being made by our country's current administration, important information being removed from the public eye, record temps, extended heat waves, it has never been a more important time to keep climate change at the forefront of our decisions. I am so proud of Tigard's progress with sustainability and climate awareness, literally saving lives with cooling stations like the library. I'm speaking tonight just as a reminder to keep going with Tigard's proactive climate goals and to push further with our actions, especially with recent events, that you announced tonight. We need to keep these things in focus. Mayor Lube was doing great things with that, and so I hope a lot of that continues. Climate change won't go away just because we remove the websites and the studies. Things won't get better if we wait for someone else to do it first. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Elizabeth, so much. Next, is it Amy Pevin? Did I say that correctly? Perrin, sorry. Thank you. Welcome. Come on up. Just to, did you want to give public comment as well, or just sitting with her?
We are public comment about the security camera that I wrote in as well, but I wanted to say something.
To say something as well, and so I guess I'm just trying to, so that I understand, is it 2, 4, 6 minutes, or just 2 minutes and you're sitting together? Absolutely. Welcome. Come on up. I appreciate that. Yep, you bet. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Amy, and I am a City of Tigard. I am here with my neighbors on the cul-de-sac, and we have a massive invasion of privacy from our neighbor who installed a 360-degree camera at least 40 feet up in the air on his ham radio antenna. He can see into my children's bedrooms. He can see into our living room. He can see across the street. He can see into people's backyards. We have completely lost our privacy. I filed a police report over a week ago. I have not heard one thing. He never came and talked to any of the neighbors, and he just rented a big crane and put it up himself. I've seen pictures from it from a different neighbor who was helping him install the security camera. It's better than my 4K TV. I have a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old, and now I have to tell them to close their blinds all the time. I have no more privacy. I am right next door. She's next door to me, and he's across the street. This camera can see into his front yard, into his front window.
That is a straight shot.
I guess I'm coming to you because we don't know what to do.
So just so that you all know, the protocol for public comment is we receive your feedback, so thank you for that. And at this point, I'll just look to City Manager Brent Stockwell to follow up. So this isn't a time, unfortunately, that we do dialogue, but I certainly appreciate you coming forward with the concerns and explicitly sharing how it's set up. So thank you for doing that. So,
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Then our last public comment this evening is from Isaac Camacho. Welcome, Isaac.
Hi there. I really do appreciate that. appreciate everybody's words honoring National Police Women's Day and Constitution Week. I think those are also important. I think it's really awesome that we continue to push equity here in Tigard. So good evening, council members. My name is Isaac. I have a degree in criminology. I got a master's in educational leadership. I come to you today talking about my co-ownership with a cannabis delivery service called Kushcart. It's a professional service with a 7-year record of safe operations that we work in Portland, the same amount of time that I've been living here in Tigard. I'm here tonight to advocate for social equity and accessibility in our community. Tigard has thousands of senior citizens and a significant population of residents with disabilities. My home sits right in between Bonaventure Assisted Living and Summerfield Retirement Community. And for many of them, well, I'd say for some of them, the simple act of visiting a dispensary is not possible due to health, mobility, and other challenges. And so by opting in to the cannabis adjacent jurisdiction opt-in home delivery program, which was created by an Oregon law in 2022 that can be found on Chapter 155, Sections 2 through 7, will allow for us to provide a service for your local a service that your local dispensaries cannot. The OLCC currently is not granting new retail delivery licenses, which means we're not competing with the businesses here in Tigard, but rather serving a different population, one that might otherwise not have the chance to access legal regulated product due to disability or other limitations. This is not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of equity, and I'm also glad that you all haven't strayed away from that. So please opt into this program and ensure everyone in Tigard has a safe and legal option. Thank you. Oh, well, I'd also say that we have one car hybrid, 80 orders, that's 80 people that aren't driving to the dispensary. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac, very much. Okay, with that, that closes in-person public comment. Mr. Thornburg, do we have anyone in the queue for phone or video comment?
None at this time.
Thank you. Okay, we will move forward to the city manager report.
Hello, City Councilors. I have some slides for you to see tonight. The first one is that we are excited to share that the FY 2025-26 City of Tigard adopted budget is now available online on the city's website. So you just need to go to tigard-or.gov and search budget. So that's all an electronic document, all online. Next slide. We'd like to invite you and the community to join us for the Tigard Police and Public Works Family Fun Day on Saturday, September 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you drop by the Tigard Police Department and the Public Works buildings, you can participate in tours, police canine meet and greet, big trucks, drone demos, motorcycles, a bike rodeo with free kids helmets, giveaways, and complimentary lunch. Families can enjoy hands-on activities, meet local staff, and explore vehicles and equipment. It's free admission and everyone is welcome. Next slide. And Thursday is the City of Tigard's birthday. So Tigard incorporated on September 11th, 1961. Congratulations, Tigard, you're 64. Who could ask for more? So thank you, that's my report for tonight.
Thank you, City Manager. And actually, I'm excited about the budget because just today I was looking for it online, so that's great to know. So thank you for that. Councilors, do you have any questions for the City Manager? Okay. Oh,
maybe not just a question, but happy birthday. That's fantastic to the city. So just want to recognize that. It seemed like it was a little bit in passing, but happy birthday to all of us.
Happy birthday, Tigard. I love it. Okay, so we will move forward now with a consent agenda. Consent agenda is used for routine items. Information on each item is available on the city's website. in the packet for this meeting. These items may be enacted in one motion or without separate discussion. Council members may request that an item be removed by motion for discussion and separate action. Tonight's consent agenda, we have resolution number 25-30, a resolution of support for a housing planning assistance grant from the Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development. I move for a motion, and I seek that from a counselor.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Motion was made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, is there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries and is adopted by unanimous support of the council. Thank you all. Okay, the next thing that we have on our agenda this evening is a legislative public hearing continuation of the FEMA ordinance. And thank you. Agnes, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My name is Agnes Lindor. I'm a senior planner in the Community Development Department. As you may recall, staff came before you in June on this item and recommended that Council continue the hearing to today, September 9th. Unfortunately, we don't have much more concrete information to share with you on the coordination that's been happening. There are several lawsuits that FEMA is involved with, and in June they asked the courts to pause the litigation so they can try to resolve things outside of court to come to an agreement. So that coordination is still ongoing, and this coordination could also lead to some changes to the model ordinance. So because of this, staff is again requesting council or recommending that the council continue the hearing until a date and time certain, and the date that we are looking at is December 9th, 2025. So thank you.
Thank you, Senior Planner Lindor. Council, any questions? Okay, then I will announce that this public hearing is being continued until a date certain of December 9th, 2025. And with that, the public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have our presentation on Washington County local option levies. Washington County Cooperative Library Services Manager, Lisa Tattersall. Welcome, Lisa. Sheriff Caprice Massey, Deputy Sheriff Errol McCrea, and District Attorney Kevin Barton are, and then of course I see, okay, well welcome Commissioner Snyder. Thank you for all of you being here. And with that, I think the process is to do both presentations and then move to the resolutions, if that works for everyone. So welcome.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Wolf and Council. My name is Lisa Tattersall with Washington County Cooperative Library Services. I'm here today to share educational information about a proposed library local option levy, Measure 34-345. As a public employee, I am subject to political restrictions under Oregon law, and so I'm here to share neutral and non-advocacy information only. Next slide, please. Unless I have a clicker. No, it's. Oh, it went. Thank you. In this presentation, I'll be covering how public library service is delivered in the county and what the current funding is like. I will also talk about what the proposed levy would fund, how much it would cost, and what would happen if the levy did not pass. Next slide. Here in Washington County, library service is provided through a partnership between WCCLS, 9 cities, and 3 nonprofit associations that operate local libraries. WCCLS is the primary source of funding for local libraries and also provides the central support services, that efficiently link these independently operated libraries together, creating a countywide system that is available for all 6,000 plus residents. Next slide. There are 16 full-service library locations in the county, from Banks in the northwest corner all the way down to Sherwood in the south. In addition, our digital library is available 24/7 at wccls.org. Next slide. In fiscal year 24-25, the local option levy represents 45% of WCCLS revenue and the remaining 55% is from a transfer from the county's general fund. The majority of WCCLS total funding is directed towards library allocations at 67%. The remaining 33% of WCCLS expenses are for the essential services that link libraries together. Next slide. The levy would fund programs, resources, and materials that are designed to support student success with reading and learning. Some of the events and resources available to kids and teens include book clubs, Oregon Battle of the Books events, makerspaces, and STEAM programs. Libraries also offer resources for parents and caregivers, kindergarten readiness, test prep tools, and free access to fast and reliable internet. Over 10,000 students participated in library programs designed to support reading, learning, and student success last year. Since 2019, WCCLS has issued over 83,000 library cards to public school students. Next slide. The levy would also fund the central services that efficiently link libraries together. Library users can use the shared online catalog to access over 1.5 million library items, reserving them for pickup at any of the 16 locations across the county. WCCLS courier trucks delivered 2.5 million books and other materials to libraries in fiscal year 23-24. In addition, WCCLS provides online learning tools such as job hunting resources, downloadable ebooks and audiobooks, digital newspapers and magazines in many languages, as well as streaming video, all available 24/7 to library users. Next slide. The levy would fund open hours at 16 full-service public library locations across the county. Most libraries in the system are open at least 6 days a week and provide access to 1.5 million items in the shared collection. Last year, there were over 2.4 million visits to libraries in our system, and total checkouts exceeded 7.2 million. By borrowing items rather than purchasing them, library users saved $140 million last year. In addition to providing books and other materials, library buildings serve as cooling spaces for the community during extreme heat events. We also provide public computers and Wi-Fi, as well as study rooms and meeting rooms. Next slide. The levy would also fund children's reading events, including story times, some of which are offered in multiple languages, such as Spanish and Chinese. All WCCLS libraries offer regular events and programs for kids, as well as an annual summer reading program. Libraries also offer interactive play areas that promote learning and social interaction. In fiscal year 23-24, WCCLS libraries hosted over 200,000 participants at 6,000 in-person events for kids and teens. Next slide. If passed, Measure 34-345 would replace a 22-cent levy that is expiring in June of 2026. The proposed replacement levy would be a fixed rate of 37 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, and it would run from July 2026 to June 2031. In 2026, typical homeowners with an assessed value, and that's the value on your tax statement, not what Zillow says your home is worth, which is the market value. So if the assessed value was $348,600, they would pay an estimated total of $129 annually, or $10.75 per month. The annual increase in cost for the typical homeowner over the current levy rate would be just over $54 per year, or $4.55 per month more than the current levy. Next slide. If the levy did not pass, reductions in library service would occur, including reduced open hours, fewer book purchases, fewer reading events, and a reduced level of services that link libraries together. Some of the linking services that would be reduced would include fewer ebooks purchased, a less robust online catalog, less frequent deliveries between libraries, and disrupted access to technology. And the last slide. Thank you. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. And then we have information at wccls.org/levy.
Wonderful. I would like to open up to counselors to see if you have any questions before Sheriff Massey begins on the public safety levy. So any questions, comments? Counselor Shaw.
Great, thank you so much for the presentation. And you'd mentioned open hours. I'm not familiar with what that means. So if it passed, there increase open hours, if decreased, is it just an hour per day it's open, or what does open hours mean? Thank you.
That's a great question. Open hours is basically the amount of hours that your library is open, so, and available to the public. And that is the biggest services. The biggest service that libraries provide is just basically being a space that anyone can enter and come in, and so open hours are just really important. So the more hours, the better. And those are also the biggest cost driver for a library because you need people to help keep the building open. And so if the levy did not pass, that would result likely in, depending on their jurisdiction and their local choices, but that would really impact the revenue, which would impact staffing levels, which then reduces the amount of time that a library can be open.
Mayor Pro Tem, one follow-up question. Thank you very much. It's really helpful. Is there an estimate, just across the board? Would it be 10% of the open hours would be reduced, or?
It's a really good question. We have an interesting system here in Washington County in terms of how we run our libraries and how we fund our libraries. And so because there are multiple funding streams per library, I really can't say what the impact would be for the city of Tigard because the levy is an important source of revenue, and then there's also the transfer from the general fund, and then there's your local resources, and Commissioner Snyder wants to jump in, I think.
mean, that's ultimately would be all of your decision to make around the Tigard Library. It would be a definite reduction in funding that's coming from the county through the levy, and so that would be local choices for you all to make. But you'd have a lot less money to make those choices.
Great, thank you. I have a follow-up, but I'll see if any of my fellow councilors have questions first.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Just to clarify, we already pay a tax for this as a levy that's expiring, right? So while this is an increase, it's not a brand new tax. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it has not been increased in some time, and this is really needed to keep up with what rising costs are and all the services that Lisa just covered.
And I do believe that we did a survey of county residents, and were most people in favor of the levy?
Yeah, or I can. Yep, the polling. Yeah, so the county did 3 rounds of polling, voter polling, and the results were pretty consistent across all 3 rounds, where they ended up with about 60% voter support.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Shaw, you can go, and then at the end, City Manager Stockwell, he has participated in some of those conversations along the way. If there's anything that you'd like to add, but I'll go ahead, Councilor Shaw, you can ask your question and then wrap
Great.
up.
Thank you. You had mentioned homework help, online tutoring, as well as interactive play areas. That seems to be maybe morphing on both parks and recreation, but also schools. And if that's competing with open hours, or is it competing with open hours?
I would say it is not competing with open hours in this case. So the interactive play areas are one of the amenities that families would get to enjoy because the library is open. And so they're, and every library is different, but they usually have areas where there's interactive learning and stuff. And those are usually just stuff in the space that people can come in and engage with. So if the open hours are reduced, there's limited access to those. The online homework help and tutoring, those are resources that should the levy not pass, we would have to look at whether we can afford to maintain those. But those are not intended to replace school curriculum or anything like that. The idea is that libraries, I think, have always been a place where kids and teens can come to work on their homework and do their research. And so we're just expanding that into the online space with these resources and making them more accessible to kids who may not have the transportation or ability to come in. Thanks.
City Manager Stockwell, anything you want to add?
Only if you have any questions you need me to respond to.
No, I think the point of just what would be lost if the levy wasn't renewed, I think would weigh heavily on all our minds. So appreciate the presentation. And with that, I think we'll transition, Sheriff Massey, to yours, and then we'll discuss the resolutions after that.
That was very good.
It's all yours.
Thank you so much. I feel like I was just here. And this is less comfortable than what I was wearing last time. I just want to throw that out there because I do not fit in this chair and the side saddle manner, which I will be delivering this presentation, is fantastic. Thank you for having me again. I really appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, the next slide. We're going to talk a little bit about the public safety local option levy that is also on the ballot. That is Measure 34-346. And this is going to be a 66 cents per $1,000 assessed value, as you heard in the former presentation. What I want to talk about there essentially is that the increase that we are requesting, it's a 19-cent increase, it would amount to roughly $72 more a year than the current tax value and impact. Next slide, please. And so with that, I'd like to make it clear that this also is not a new levy. This is a levy that has been in place for about 25 years, and the increase is only because the cost of doing business and the cost of hiring and maintaining extraordinary people in the public safety space is essential. This levy covers about 16% of our operating budget. That is a significant amount that accommodates prosecution, countywide public safety services, both within the cities and in the urban unincorporated and rural areas of Washington County, probation and parole, our juvenile services, and it increases support for our domestic violence survivors. And so many of you may have heard of the program that we have in Washington County that makes us really unique, I think, which is our Family Justice Center, which will be transitioning to the Family Peace Center, and they also receive funding from this levy. Next slide. Let's see. Keep going, please. Thank you. This levy, should it pass, will allow us to increase our investigation and prosecution of large crimes, of course, things like murder, crimes against children. But the other thing that it really helps us fund is those crimes that are related to livability, which those are the things that we are seeing in our community day in, day out, whether it's break-ins, graffiti, retail theft, organized retail theft, et cetera. Those are the things that are keeping our businesses and our homeowners and our residents safe in their spaces. It will also allow us to enhance prosecution of child abuse, child pornography cases. Our child abuse reports have increased by about 17% from the time period of 21 to 24. And so that's about an average of 9 reports a day. Next slide, please. Let's see. The other thing we plan to do is expand victims assistance programs, emergency programs for families who are harmed by domestic violence. So that's what we talked about with our Family Justice Center, and combat the impact of illegal drugs like fentanyl and dismantling drug trafficking organizations. Our Westside Interagency Narcotics team is an interagency team, and over the last couple of years, they have taken over 1 million fentanyl pills off our streets in Washington County alone. And with the sentiment of one pill can kill, I understand we can't quantify a negative, but you can only conceive of how many lives have been saved by the critical work that those detectives are doing. Next slide, please. And a piece that is true to my heart is it will provide critical funding for our Washington County Jail in order to keep those who are court-ordered in custody in custody. We just brought online a new courtroom, and it is statutorily required for the sheriff to provide court security deputies to all of our circuit courtrooms in Washington County. And that will allow us to actually increase that staffing to ensure that we are meeting that statutory requirement and providing extraordinary wraparound services to the adults in custody who have been entrusted to our care. Next slide, please. The last thing I'd really like to touch on about operations is just our mental health response team that I know you have familiarity with as we serve in Tigard as well with our partners with the Tigard Police Department. And that partners a behavioral health master's level clinician with one of our deputies or our police officers. They are able to respond to those behavioral health calls and divert people who are in mental health crisis from the criminal justice system and make sure that they have the services that are most appropriate for the care that they need in our community. This allows for a lesser impact, not just to the person involved, but also to the entire criminal justice ecosystem that survives in Washington County, whether it's the district attorney's office or those who are providing support after conviction with probation and parole, and then early interventions with our juveniles. Can I hit 2 more slides, please? You can skip the next one. Thank you. I touched a bit on this about how it would impact a homeowner's property taxes. The owner of a home with assessed value of about $348,600 would pay a little less than $20 per month or $230 per year. Again, that increase, however, would actually only amount to about $72 per year, above and beyond what is already being paid and assessed on property tax. Next slide. And can we hit one more? Thank you. The last thing I'll leave you with is that if this levy doesn't pass, we will, by its very nature, need to look at reductions in the critical public safety services that we provide across the public safety ecosystem throughout Washington County. And what that would essentially look like is us reassigning people who are doing really important work in specialty areas back to the core functions of just responding to 911 calls or operating housing units in the jail. And so in order to continue to not just keep our public safety services with status quo, but to elevate them and provide critical resources to expand those areas that our community benefits from, that is, it's going to be necessary over the next 5 years for that increase. And next, bam. What questions can I answer?
Council, any questions? Councilor Shaw? Oh, you look like you were headed that way.
I feel like I always have questions. You mentioned it was 66 cents per 1,000, and I know there's a current levy now, but that you mentioned that's $230 per year.
That's what it would be.
Would mean. And so and then with the library being 129, we're looking at about a $357. It's not necessarily increased because there's already an amount paid, but per year, it'll be $357 per.
I believe you.
Thank you. The only reason I mentioned that is, obviously the services are needed. It's very important. But as the city of Tigard looks towards next year for our own potential bond, it just concerns me that we will have asked for quite a bit of needed dollars, but then we'll have a very important local need, and it could put us in a perilous position.
I do share your concerns.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to tag on to that, I did the math for this. I didn't write down the exact increase for the library part. And again, we know we haven't raised these rates in 5 years. But just doing a quick calculation, the 19-cent increase to 66 cents comes out to a 29% increase. Divided by 5 years, if we say we haven't raised it in 5 years, that's increasing at 5.8% a year, which I know the final math of it's only $72 more per year, but we've recently seen people in Portland saying that even $1 increase in their water bill is going to put them over the edge. And we're all struggling, we're all, feeling the pinch. And so again, I echo that I worry about this, and it's not that I don't want to fund public safety, but I just have to put that math out there and tell people that we are thinking about this cost, and I just sympathize with people having to balance all of the different expenses we have.
But I think the broader context here is that we as a state and every local government entity need to have And I think all the members of our community have to have a kind of a reckoning with themselves about how we fund public services in this state. And I think every entity is experiencing these kinds of challenges. And it's in large part because of actions that were taken by vote 30 plus years ago. I mean, the city of Tigard, during my time as a budget committee member, city councilor, council president, and mayor, we had that discussion. I was involved in that discussion for 20 years, every year. And it's gotten worse every year. And Councilor, I think you're absolutely right. And at the same time, we as a state need to really have a conversation with ourselves about how we're going to take care of our communities. Because right now, based on actions, it doesn't seem like we're very serious about it from a financial perspective.
Thank you both. Questions down here?
One thing I'd like to just acknowledge is I share that same struggle with not wanting to be taxed more and trying to figure out how we continue to do more with less. And so I only tell you that to tell you that these are very difficult discussions that we're engaging in, not just from the sort of government side about what we have to do, but also from the resident side of what we have to do. And so I appreciate you bringing it forward because it is important.
Councilor, one other thing to add is we spent the steering committee that both the sheriff and I sat on, along with a number of other county leaders, to guide this public safety levy. We debated about every cent that was added into the levy, literally. Like, we were doing math of what we would have to cut if we did or didn't have the levy at 66 cents versus 65 versus less than that. I mean, there was a lot of diligence and thought put into it, just to give you that context as well.
I appreciate that background. And again, I'm not necessarily against this, but I just want to highlight for all of our constituents how difficult this is. I know I have one of the critical jobs during COVID, but I didn't get a 6% raise every year for the past 5 years, and I'm sure most people didn't. So it's just difficult. And I'm not saying that came out a little snarky, and I didn't mean it that way, but it's just that it's difficult to justify all of the increases, because it also feels like, gosh, we have so many more people here in Tigard, so why don't we have more money? And I guess it's just trying to remember that we all need to pay our fair share and get reminded of how expensive everything is for everybody.
Well, and while wages may not be going up at 5.6%, other things are going up at much more than that. And that is a challenge in a whole bunch of spaces. And actually, in some instances, we do have wages, I think, probably going up at that rate. But fully loaded cost of employees is definitely increasing at more than 3%.
Thank you.
Okay. Last call. Questions? Okay. Thank you all for being here for the presentations, and we will move to the resolutions. I was asked to bring the resolutions forward in favor of, to support both levies. So we'll start with the library levy, and its consideration. You all had it in your packet in support of ballot measure 34-345. But I want to see if there's any particular follow-up questions or comments. And if not, I'll look for a motion, but I'll offer up time for further questions. And to Councilor Shaw and Councilor Robbins, you are correct. And I also appreciate looking a little inward as we consider our goals and needs for next May, when we ask Tigard voters to support us in this very, very important facilities bond. So it is important to weigh all the pieces, and yet we know the library levy directly impacts our budget, and I know that Chief McDonald would continue to say what an amazing partner the county is in our public safety efforts. So, which we talked about when you were in pink, Sheriff Massey. But with that, any questions, comments? Councilor Hu?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Wolf. I was watching the County Commissioners workshop meeting this morning regarding the library levy, how they were considering 4 different kind of allocation pathways. So to me, again, I agree with you that I don't want to imagine the devastating consequences of Measure 345 not passed. But at the same time, I just feel like asking us to reconsider this motion right now, resolution right now, is premature procedurally because the county has not finalized the funding model. So my understanding is that the county commissioners are going to vote on October 7th. So I would like to delay our consideration of this resolution until a week after that, which is the week that the county is sending out ballots to voters. And I don't think that will necessarily hurt this ballot measure if we delay our consideration. So I would like to, for procedural reasons, and just to cross the T and dot the I's, I would like us to delay considering this motion until the county finalizes their funding model. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hu. I guess fellow councilors, is that a nod to put that on hold? Are you good? So I assume at this point we just put it on hold and put it back on the agenda for the October 7th meeting. Okay. Well, I appreciate the presentation, and we will revisit the resolution at our October 7th meeting. But that was specific to the Washington County Library, so we will move forward and discuss the resolution supporting the public safety local option levy ballot measure 34-346. Questions, comments?
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf, I would like to move to approve resolution number 25. Quick question, City Recorder, would it still be -32 or would it be now -31 as a consequence of us pushing the other one? Thank you. I'd like to start over, if I may. I move to approve resolution number 25-31, a resolution of the City of Tigard supporting the Washington County Public Safety Local Option Levy, ballot measure 34-346.
Need a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Motion was made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay. So I will move forward. Youth Councilor Hellig, would you give us an advisory vote?
Aye.
Very good. And then for the council, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? With that, resolution number 25-31 is adopted unanimously by the vote of the council. And we have no non-agenda items this evening. So at this point, council will move into executive session. The Tigard City Council will go into executive session under ORS 192.6602B. The executive session will be held in the library, second floor conference room. All discussions are confidential, and those present may disclose nothing from the session. Representatives of the news media are allowed to attend the executive session as provided by ORS 192.6604, but must not disclose any information discussed. No executive session may be held for the purpose of taking any final action or making any final decision. The Tigard City Council will adjourn immediately after the executive session and will not be returning to open session. Thank you. And
Council, before we break, my apologies, the location for executive session has changed. We will be in Red Rock.
Okay, we will be in Red Rock. All right. With that, then, thank you all for being here this evening, and we will adjourn into executive session. So, thank you.